Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Market News. Today is Monday, 22nd of February, and we are ready to kick off a new week, which is still in the mirror of concerns about the rising yields on stock markets. And last week was quite negative. It was probably first negative week after this 2 week rise on especially U.S. stock indices, so Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq. They all closed in negative territory, and they even started this week going lower, which is quite disturbing for the markets and might be even more in the coming days. As we have yields on 10 years Treasury rising, and they keep on rising above 130. Right now we are on 136. Last week we tipped at the beginning of the week around 130. We keep on rising. What might be concerning though is probably the pace of rising yields. If we are going to cross 140 in a short period of time and 150, then we really have some source of concern for the markets. And obviously, the markets are always working with the expectation. The expectation is right now that the economic recovery and inflation expectation, how it keeps on rising, it's gonna push yields on Treasury. So that's why it's sort of a cycle where even some investors were selling bonds as they were seeing some more interesting opportunities at some emerging markets on other risk assets like maybe Bitcoin. So there's not really much need to hold bonds, and obviously the rising yield, which not only influence the yield itself, but it also influence other rates in the economy. So that might be very concerning for the stock markets, and you can see right now that they are experiencing quite a correction from last week. We will see how this week will play out. We don't really expect much from this week in terms of macroeconomic news, but like I said, the sentiment can shift pretty rapidly and pretty quickly. So we will see. We stay in this descending trending channel. We'll see. Right now, today we tested this pivot high from somewhere in the beginning of January. We tested this low. There's some pullback, even third touch from this trending line. So technically, it can really go up, but here you can see a huge volume consolidation area where market might have problem to go through and even can pull back and go to the lower prices. I had before here the support at somewhere around 38.45. Where you can see a huge consolidation area here, huge barrier for the traders, and some buyers can hold it here and basically try to keep the trend going. Also, we have the 100 moving average down here, well below these areas. If we go right here, somewhere around this area, would be very interesting for the markets to correct even that low, and you can expect some big buyers to jump in the market real fast, as the earnings are still pretty good. The economic is recovering right now, and everything is looking quite okay. Only there's some concern about the rates in the economy in the future, as the rates are the main factor for the stocks to be at the record highs as they are where they are right now. So we have somewhat about 5 days losing streak, which is something we haven't seen here for a while, probably since October. So we'll see how this thing will play out on Monday, how we will close, and definitely we can expect some further trading session to end up in the green numbers. So that's about it. That's about it about the stock markets in the U.S. Like I said, even in Europe, the sentiment is more or less the same. We're a bit negative for the last week. We even begin on DEX the beginning of this week with quite negative slump. If we can see, we have had released data from IFO Business Climate Index. That came out pretty good, 91 to 94 actual, 90.6 business situation to 89 in the previous reading. Also 90 compared to 92.4 for the last month. So it's looking quite good. So really something that helped to push the DEX, like I said, to some higher levels and some pullback from correction, those losses from earlier in the morning. On the Forex side and other currency pairs, we were also again able to see some big moves on the US dollar, as the US dollar was mainly it was surging for a bit, but then decreasing again. Everything was in sort of combination where the market couldn't decide if the dollar, if the higher yields are good for the dollar, or the higher yields are bad for stock markets, and in that terms, it's going to push the demand for US dollar. So a bit undecisive, but you can see that we might be on daily chart keeping this trending line up above 121. We'll see how we will be able to close the session. We right now are going right into the consolidation area where we were before. Macroeconomically, nothing really has changed over there. Like I said, it's going to be mostly about US dollar, and I think US dollar has shown us everything he could so far, and it's probably going to keep decreasing. So it's going to help euro maybe push higher above this consolidation area, and some positive sentiment over here on euro, as well as on the GBP USD. Extremely positive week, although we had some slump here in the middle. Thursday, and Friday was extremely positive. We were able to close above 140 for the first time since 2018. So everything is looking good on the GBP. The vaccination process, the developments, the infrastructure, everything they do is looking extremely good for. Is playing a very good part for the outlook for the UK economy. So everything is reflecting on GBP, and it keeps on rising to 140. So we will not be surprised if there is a little correction, something like this, which will be probably there, perhaps this week, sooner or later. But overall, the trend is pretty obvious. The British pound keeps on rising, so it's probably going to keep on rising. We stay positive on this. So any further downside correction will be a signal to get in the trend, which is going upwards. So that's about it on GBP. Like I said, extremely positive sentiment. USD CAD, everything is sort of moving alongside with the US dollar, which is sometimes going for some gains, but most of the time it's decreasing and going to the lower prices. So as well as Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar is right now the strongest since the end of the last month. I mean, end of the last year, and sort of creating some kind of descending triangle, and perhaps we might see some push through this strong support area to the lower level, and some further gains on Canadian dollar in this week. Gold is, we can see some correction here. This was somewhat expected. As you can see, we tested this double bottom area on 1764. Overall, the sentiment is more or less bad. Even with falling US dollar. With surging US dollar today on Monday, we can see some gains here on gold, which means that this one is probably on a technical correction. We probably can test this area of 1810 and going lower to test the lower prices, as well as we are going to probably keep this descending trading channel. Oil was extremely interesting. We're probably going to see some much more calm sessions this week, as the winter in Texas is somewhat going down, and it's not that bad as it was. And we probably will see this week some consolidation, maybe going to even some lower prices, maybe $58 a barrel would be fair, as the U.S. shale production kind of went back to the action, and overall U.S. production is going pretty good, which should help the market to stabilize, and the demand should not be bigger than the supply. So I'm expecting more or less stabilization on crude, but we'll see if there will be something that will affect the overall performance. Like I said, the overall performance can be affected on Thursday with the release of where do you have it? Or maybe we have it on maybe released on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm talking about this oil stock change. So we will see how this thing will affect the market. Other than that, on Tuesday we have some interesting data from UK, job data from UK. We have CPI from Eurozone, consumer confidence, Powell testimony in the US on Wednesday, interest rate decision from New Zealand Central Bank, several GDP data from different economies around the world, housing data from US, and on Friday we have something interesting, some other GDP data from US, durable goods orders from US, jobless claims, and on Friday retail sales from Japan, and several other GDP data. So that should be it. And PC index, some of the very interesting one. We do not expect any changes here right now, but probably in about 5-6 months, they will be interesting to see that if we have some big actual numbers against the consensus and some inflation pressures in the United States. So this will be it for the macroeconomic side. Like I said, everything will be mostly about the sentiment this week. So we will see, probably closely watch the yields in the US and how this might affect the market, especially the stock market. So this will be for today's video. If you guys have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below the video, and I will see you next week.